Okay, then, gents, let's switch gears a bit and preview this game against Saudi Arabia. As I said, it's coming up in Murcia in southern Spain on Tuesday. Different kind of challenge. It's been scheduled with the thought being that Saudi Arabia are a very good opponent that match up to Iran, who the US will be playing in the World Cup. So it's a good tester to see stylistically how they play, how the US can prepare, different patterns of play, different styles of play for the game against Iran, which obviously could be crucial in the World Cup, right? The final group stage game. So, Nick Mendola, I'm going to come to you. What do we want to see from the US against Saudi Arabia? What's the main thing you want to take away from that final 90 minutes warm-up game? Because after that, that's it. It's the main show. It's the World Cup.
Yeah, not to piggyback too much on our last question, but what I want to see is Christian Pulisic.
Okay.
And the reason is we had a post up at by the way, great job by us on the pregame coverage. But we had a post up at NBC Sports, and one of them was the one you asked me to write, 5 questions for the friendlies. My first question was, how does he look in form and in face? Because we know his attitude and what he brings to the team is also very, very, very important. I want to see a guy who's excited to be out there, who's driving his teammates, who's being a guy who's considered part of the captain group. I don't have any doubts that Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams are going to rebound. I don't have any doubts that we'll see a little bit better, at least from center back. But show me the star of the team looking happy to be there and showing me he's ready to lead a very important thing in about a month and a half, 2 months.
Andy, what do you want to see from the US against Saudi Arabia?
This might sound like it's coming out of left field, but it's out of necessity. I think it's the only option if you look at the roster right now. I want to see Mark McKenzie start because Mark McKenzie can play with the ball at his feet and pass out of the back. And if you're going to face a team that's going to look to defend you the way that Saudi Arabia are going to do, you don't need Aaron Long along the back line to win the ball in the air and to do what Aaron Long does for this team. Whatever you think that is. You need a center back who can carry the ball into midfield, can push Tyler Adams further forward, can push Weston McKennie further forward, and get them on the ball in more dangerous areas. That is how you're going to break down a team that's going to sit deeper defensively. They're going to see a lot of that at the World Cup. They'll see it from Wales, they'll see it from Iran. Say that again?
Sorry, that's John Brooks, though.
Well, sure, but he's not in this camp.
No, I know. He's not going to be there against Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I wanted to explain why you might have heard me in the background going, oh.
Yeah. Well, but also I like John Brooks. I the experience, all of that stuff. I also think John Brooks is way too slow to play internationally because the game is so counter heavy. And what is the worst thing that John Brooks has is his ability to turn 180 degrees and then get up to speed. If he goes into the lineup, that's the issue with the back line versus, we don't have anybody to pass. Well, we have somebody to pass, but we have nobody to defend alongside Walker Zimmerman. Like, to me, it might be Mark McKenzie. He might be the one. It might be Cameron Carter-Vickers. It might be Eric Palmer-Brown. I don't know. But it's not Aaron Long. And so we have to see a center back that fits the style in this game. And if we don't, I'm going to be really upset because there's no logical reason. There's no explanation to not.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'd love to see Eric Palmer-Brown start. I don't think he's done much wrong in the US shirt whenever he's been given the opportunity. I mean, he's doing really well in France, obviously, for a team that's set up with 3 at the back. So maybe try that. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's too late in the day to try a more different system and a more defensive system. But he's definitely more comfortable coming out of the back with the ball. And so is McKenzie. So that is what the main thing I want to see. I want to see someone in that centre-back core step out and say, you know what? That is my jersey. I want to start at the World Cup. Give me a full 90 minutes performance from one of these guys. And even if they don't start, right, it's Chris Richards and Carter Vickers. Like we said, those guys aren't fit for this camp. Doesn't seem like serious issues. So as long as you have some practice games before the tournament kicks off, which they will, of course, then those guys are looking pretty good to be playing a key part in Qatar. So elsewhere, I want to see Ricardo Pepi and Josh Sargent, maybe even start them up top together, go for a more attacking formation. I just want to see these guys in attack get given opportunities to show what they can do, because today against Japan, there was absolutely nothing going forward. There was no real creativity, no pattern of play. And I felt a bit sorry for for Ferreira and also for Sargent when they came on, because there was nothing really for them to feed off. They were feeding off scraps. So I think they'll get more opportunities. And yeah, it's just going to be really interesting because I think some guys are playing themselves out of the lineup right now with these performances. So I just want to see who's going to step up and who is going to really make sure they're on the plane, right? And make sure they deserve another opportunity. Nick, I mean, Saudi Arabia, we mentioned it there. They're going to be similar to Iran. What kind of test do you think that will provide this US side? I mean, they're going to be sat back quite deep, but again, good on the counter. I think it'll be a slightly different team to a style of play to Japan, right? I don't think they'll be high pressing as much. So I think that actually suits the US.
Well, it's a loaded question. I do think so. I think Saudi Arabia is a good team that's going to stick to its plan, and that's what we see a lot, as Andy mentioned, in international football. It's let's cobble together what our identity is, and then let's execute it as simply and efficiently as we can. And I think you'll see that from Saudi Arabia. I think it is a good test. My fear, just to put it out there, is that I think the U.S. is significantly better than Iran, but I think that game may not even matter. And that's kind of my fear. I see we're all down on the team right now. I get that. I am as well. To me, the England game is the only one I've written off, and the route through is taking care of Wales and Iran. So I honestly don't think Saudi Arabia is going to be that much different from Wales. I think you're going to see a team that is ready to fight you, and I think both of these were really good prep.
Yeah. They will be. I mean, just rounding up some of Greg Berhalter's recent comments from the Japan game, he said, we have got work to do. We clearly need to improve. And then he said, we need to play with personality. We need to play relaxed. We need to play with intensity. And when we do these things, we're really good. But when we don't, we're an average team.
Don't.
Yeah. So it's a bit all over the place right now for the US. But against Saudi Arabia, there is a chance very quickly to bounce back. As we said, hopefully Pulisic's back. Hopefully we see Pepe and Sargent up top get some chances. And centre-back, that is the big question mark. We've been saying this for years, right? Centre-back and centre-forward, those are the two massive areas where we still have so many questions. And we thought it would be figured out by now. But we almost have more questions now than we did last month in those positions, those key areas. So, Andy, lead us out on a positive note.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, actually a little bit, well, I don't know if it's positive, but it's in defense of Greg Berhalter, I suppose. It's not Greg Berhalter's fault that the options in the player pool at center back and center forward are really bad. He's not responsible for putting the player pool together. So, that is something that is to a degree out of his control. At the same time, to a degree, you are the coach, and your job is to figure out something that works. And if it's becoming clear that what we're trying to do is not working, I wonder, and again, another much bigger conversation for another day, but why do we conflate what the U.S. men's national team is with what we want American soccer to be? The possession and the way that the game is played in this country. A national team, a national team is a team. It doesn't exactly represent, and this might be controversial, it doesn't represent a country in the way that some people want to kind of say that it does. It is a team of players who are professionals that come together. Yes, they wear the shirt and they come from the same place, generally.
And you need to play to their strengths, right?
Right.
If you're not playing to their strengths and you're trying to create an identity for a country through a team on the field that is a bunch of young players and probably not ready for that level of responsibility and demand on 2 months from now, 59 days away, literally the biggest stage in world sports. I don't know. That does seem like a bit of a recipe for maybe failure, maybe disaster. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, let's wait and see what happens. One final 90 minutes to go before the World Cup. So again, the three of us will be back on Tuesday, September 27th. You can see it there on the bottom of the screen. USA against Saudi Arabia in Murcia in Spain. The final 90 minutes, the final chance for these players to impress Greg Berhalter. They have to improve a lot from that performance against Japan and that defeat in Germany.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.